There's a new policy at Chase Bank. We're going to be talking about it in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Bank is saying you cannot spend your money on what you want to spend it on. This is crazy. We've always known, and you've heard it preached in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. Well, now what we're going to learn is if your money is not in your possession, you might not have full control over your money. This is unbelievable. So this tweet came from Wendy O or Crypto Wendy. If you don't know who she is, I recommend you follow her on Twitter, follow her on YouTube. She's one of the good ones. She said Chase discriminating against crypto is not new. They've always done this, but weren't so public about it. This is in preparation for CBDC, central bank digital currency. Follow the money. She is absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to read through this policy and then we're going to talk about it, and this is crazy. And by the way, I have in my past, 15 to 20 years of business experience, I have seen banks restrict legal transactions over the years, and it's always blew my mind. The first time or two that I saw it, I thought, wow, the average person who works a normal, job and you just get your paycheck and you spend your paycheck and you pay your taxes, you're a part of the sort of the mainstream system, you'll never notice this stuff. But it is amazing, and this is one of the things that's attracted me to crypto. It's amazing how much financial institutions can restrict adults from making decisions with their own money. And we're not even talking about doing anything illegal. We're talking about just spending in dollars. I'll give you some examples when I'm done reading this, where we're just talking about normal dollars. Normal dollars. All right. So here we go. Our policy around crypto is changing. Here's what it means for you. Hi, to help you keep your money safe from fraud and scams, we're changing the types of payments you can make from Chase. In other words, they always say, "Hey, we're doing this to protect you." Freedom is always restricted under the excuse of keeping us safer. So here, to keep your money safe, we're changing the types of payments you can make. In other words, we're changing how you can spend your money that's in our bank. From October 16th, 2023, if we think, not have proof, if we think you're making a payment related to crypto assets, we'll decline it. If you would like to invest in crypto assets, you can try using a different bank or provider instead. In other words, if you want to buy crypto, take your business somewhere else. But please be cautious, as you may not be able to get the money back if the payment ends up being related to fraud or a scam. In other words, please be cautious, as you may not be able to get your money back if you send money to anything that's a fraud or scam, regardless of crypto. And before people say things like, "Oh, but there's so many frauds in crypto," no, no, no. The US dollar is still the currency stolen the most, embezzled the most, used for most scams. It is still, by and large, the US dollar. Let's keep that very, very, very clear. People say we need more regulations in crypto. Regulate what? Fraud and scams are still illegal. And of course, Chase Bank is going to hop on that narrative right here and saying, "Oh no, put fear in someone's mind, trying to prevent, doing whatever they can to plant that seeds of doubt, trying to prevent someone else from getting into crypto, trying to excuse why they want to control your money, trying to make a good reason on why they should be able to stop you because they want to stop you from getting fraud or scammed." Anyway, this is just absolute garbage. Please head to our website for more information. We've made the decision because fraudsters and increasingly use crypto assets to steal large sums of money from people. Oh boy. Oh boy, where do we even begin? Could you imagine if they said, "We've made this decision no longer to allow you to spend your dollars because we want to protect your dollars." Fraudsters are increasingly using dollars to steal large sums of money from people. I mean, could you imagine if that was written that way? Declining these assets is one way we're helping keep you and your money safe. Wow. All the best, the Chase team. So, ladies and gentlemen, is it Chase's responsibility to restrict what we spend our money on? I mean, if we're going to say this is okay, then one day when Chase says you can't buy alcohol, you can't choose to gamble, you can't, buy, medicinal marijuana because it might be bad for you, you can't spend too much money on fast food because it's bad for you and it's unsafe for you and it's unhealthy. So therefore, Chase has the right to restrict that. This is ridiculous. Now, Chase is a private business; they can do what they want. This has been going on for a long time. I can tell you, a handful of stories. Years ago, I wanted to make a international transaction. I was sending $1,000 overseas, And I remember when I was sending that $1,000 overseas, it was for an export import product. And when I was sending that overseas, it was just $1,000. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world. And I remember I went to Western Union, and I remember the guy at the counter said, "Hey, do you know the person you're sending this to?" Well, I didn't know the actual name that I was told to send it to, and I said, "No, I don't really know his name." And by the way, I didn't care. This was a test. This was all a test transaction anyway. It wasn't. I mean, I did care, but it was a test transaction. I knew it could go sideways. And he goes, "Well, what is it for?" I said, "I got an import export product I'm trying to, test out." And he goes, "Okay. So do you know this individual?" I said, "No." It wasn't going to a company, and I guess that's why he was asking questions about it. And he's like, "Well, I don't think you should send this." I was like, "Well, I don't really care what you think. I want you to send it. Do you understand you could lose your money?" I said, "I understand that. Send my money." And finally, the manager came over, and I told the manager, "This is ridiculous. Is he going to wire my money or not?" And the manager's like, "Hey, just wire his money." But that was with Western Union. I do know a large bank. One of these stories has to do with Chase, and the others don't. But I'll just say they're all like national banks here in the U.S., like household names. Uh, I know someone who owned a car wash business, and they dealt with a lot of cash. Been with the bank for years, and suddenly the bank notified them that they dealt with too much cash, and they wanted to stop working with banks who dealt with that much cash. So basically, they were telling them to stop making large deposits every single day in cash. And if they were going to continue to do that, they needed to basically take their banking business somewhere else. I mean, could you imagine? I know someone else who had a check cashing business that had a very similar thing happen with a different bank. It's just mind blowing. I've always been told. Well, actually, I can tell you a true story in a business of my own. I had a client going to purchase a product. I used to market products that were over $10,000. Did it for years and years and years. And I had a client who's going to make a purchase from me. This probably happened 3 times over a decade. They would go to make a transaction, and people would pay me typically with credit cards or debit cards or whatever. Sometimes people would send money, wire money through ACH transfer through their bank. So she would go to wire the money, and I remember she called me one day. She's like, "Hey, the bank is having a hard time with this." And I said, "What do you mean they're having a hard time? They won't let me wire the money." And I ended up on the phone with the bank, talked to them, and I'm like, "What's going on?" They eventually did agree to let the wire through, but basically they were like, "Well, is this a scam? Is this, we need to protect this person?" And I'm like, "What do you mean you need to protect what are you talking about?" It was crazy. I had to send them my website and all this stuff, and I remember thinking, I mean, it's supposed to be our money. This is so crazy. I had another gentleman. Now he was assertive. The bank gave him a hard time, and he just basically threw a fit in his bank, and I never got involved with that one. He called me and told me later. He said, "My bank tried to give me a hard time," and his transaction was only like $3,500 or something. It's just wild, how banks can be sometimes. Like if you're not using a credit card or a debit card, you try to move cash around. It's very interesting. It's very fascinating. And here they are making policies about crypto. Now, a lot of people are like, well, if we get some good regulations, maybe they'll allow it again. I would argue maybe, maybe not. Keep in mind the stories I just shared with you all dealt with actually using cash. And this is one thing that's kind of attracted me to crypto, because in crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. But if you have your keys, then you have your crypto. You have full free will to send your crypto where you want. Well, listen, because there's trouble with fiat, taking dollars and putting it into crypto and cashing out your crypto, particularly here in the US, other countries you can still do it just fine. But because of this is one of the main reasons I've always been focused on earning real passive income in cryptocurrency. We're talking about, streams of income that aren't inflationary, that don't get devalued, that don't dry up. Real yield. Yes, everybody likes the idea of earning passive income, whether it's in USDT or Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, BNB. We all like the idea of earning passive income. But when you can earn passive income, it gives you more money to invest in other projects. Otherwise, you've got to constantly bring funds in through fiat. And I've not brought new dollars into crypto in probably 2+ years. And everything I've been doing has been primarily earning passive income. That's what this channel is all about. And if you agree that you should have access to your dollars and spend your money the way that you want, do me a favor and smash that like button. If you want to find out one way that I'm earning passive income is through copy trading. If you want to find out exactly what I'm doing, you want to follow my journey, then go down in the description. I'll put this link down there. You can put in your name, your email, click submit, and you'll find out exactly what I'm doing. You'll get monthly updates on how I'm copy trading and what I'm doing. I do want to say this though, copy trading is just one thing. It's just an easy thing, that I show, but it's one thing. And I plan to put some more, probably in the coming months, I'm going to put some more comprehensive content about my full strategy, because I actually have a whole strategy that I'm using. Some of you know that I invest in dividend platforms like, some of the bankrolls that I invest in with some of the casinos for example, where I earn profits from those casinos, and I earn Apex assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNBs. I also sell options, which is less passive, but it is a way to generate income without having to bring in more crypto. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing. I also do all the passive free stuff, right? I use all the apps that allow me to earn free money in crypto. Well, again, the big reason is so I can take those funds and I can invest in other projects. Some of you saw my last video that I put up about Elephant Money. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it up at the top in the cards. You can take a look at it. But Elephant Money is currently going up. I think today they've been up over 3%. I'm literally earning somewhere between $50 to $150 per day right now at the time of this video with Elephant Money. It is insane. Is it a high risk play long term? Yes, I think it's very risky long term. That's my personal opinion. I know some of the elephant guys don't, but I personally do think it's very risky long term. So I'm able to take some of this passive income, reinvest it to grow the income streams, reinvest in new income streams, but at the same time, it gives me a chance to make those altcoin plays. There's another altcoin I'm going to be telling you about on the channel as well in the next couple of weeks. Now listen, I'm gonna try to get an upload up about once a week for the next couple of weeks if I can, if at all possible. The challenge is I'm going to be traveling and I'm going to be doing some international travel. So stay tuned. I'll be keeping you abreast on what's going on. But thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredible. Thank you, Crypto Wendy, for getting this out there for people. And I need to make certain I share it as well on my Twitter account. I mean, this is blatant right here. Our policy is changing. We want to protect you. So in order to protect you, we're going to stop allowing you to make payments in assets that are completely legal. It's completely legal to buy Bitcoin. It's completely legal to buy Ethereum. But any crypto asset, we're going to stop you. I'm certain that means if you try to send it to a crypto exchange, they're going to stop it. I think ultimately we're going to see the on and off ramps get completely shut down. That is what I think is going to happen long term. Will that hurt the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will I still be buying? As long as it is illegal, as long as that it is perfectly legal for me to own crypto, I will continue to buy crypto with any means necessary. That's not financial advice for you. That is me. I believe cryptocurrency is the way forward. I don't believe central bank digital currency is the way forward. We may be forced to use that in the interim. But I believe average men and women like you and me having the right to do what we want to with our money is what is important. Having complete independence, complete freedom. And I believe that we are going to have a non-violent economic revolt at some point in our country. I believe citizens are getting tired of their dollars getting devalued. They're tired of seeing inflation go up through the roof. They are tired of the economic cycles that are existing, that are getting caused by big business and lobbyists and the banking industry as it stands, the traditional financial industry. I believe they want to be able to have independence with their money. And I believe long term, if we continue on this trend, we're going to see average men and women choose to step up. And I believe that cryptocurrency will ultimately help us in the end. And I believe we're going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these larger plays hit massive adoption. We're a ways out from that. It's going to be down the road. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.